It's Victoria Field, along with my wonderful co-host of Metabolic Health Summit, Dr. Dominic D'Agostino, Dr. Angela Poff. Hey guys, so good to see you.
Hey, good to see you
Great to be
too.
here.
I know it's been so long. First of all, thank you all for joining us on the Metabolic Health Summit Facebook page. We're so excited to be here again. It's been it's hard to believe. It's been about over a year and a half since our Metabolic Health Summit 2020 event. A lot has happened. I don't think I even need to mention that since our last conference. I mean, we really got under the radar there in January of 2020, and then all of a sudden things changed, and it's been a challenging year and a plus half, but it's been also a really incredible year for science as well. I know for me personally, it's been a wild one. Moved to a totally different state in Arizona, planning from afar, the conference from afar. Went through COVID myself. I mean, it's been crazy, but it's also been great. There's been so many silver linings. How about for you guys, Angela? How's the last year and a half plus been for you?
Absolutely crazy, unlike any other year before. But honestly, my husband and I talked a few months ago, and we're like, wow, there's actually been more positives out of this for our family than we would have ever anticipated. And
Right.
this whole situation really caused us to slow down in a way that we never would have, and really got to value that time together and time with our kids. We have a 1.5-year-old almost now, and a 3.5-year-old. So those are really incredible years that just fly by in the blink of an eye, and being able to see much more of that than I would have is I would never, give that back. So it was actually pretty incredible.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, the amount of time you've been able to spend with the kiddos at home,
Yeah.
and all the things that happened, during that time, I'm sure has been amazing. How about you, Dom? I mean, everybody I think sees the amazing things happening at the farm. What's new for you in your world?
Yeah, well, COVID seems to make time go faster for some reason, and so we've been home with the kiddos, the cows, and the pups, and we've watched the cows grow considerably since this time, and just a lot of creative downtime at home with animals and nature on the farm here allowed us to get a bunch of publications out. I think 10 or 12 over the last year, and that's been very good too. So, but we had a very active program research in the lab through it all, and that has been great. I want to thank Angela for that, for helping me.
That's awesome. No, it seems like, obviously a lot of life has happened for all of us, and I'm sure for everybody watching. And we're so excited to be back today because we've got a big announcement, as those who are jumping in right now probably are here for, which we'll get to here really soon. I want to mention that if you're watching this, comment below, ask some questions too, because we're going to be answering some metabolic health, ketogenic metabolic therapy questions as well. So you won't want to miss that at the end of our announcement. But we're also giving away a ticket to our next conference, which is worth over $400. So if you comment and share this video, you're going to be entered to win. And we're going to be announcing the winner on Friday, this upcoming Friday. So even if you're watching the replay after the fact, after this live, make sure you do that because you won't want to miss it. And it's a free ticket to Metabolic Health Summit 2022. So before we dive into that, I really want to talk a little bit more about some of the science that's been going on and research that's been happening in your lab at the University of South Florida, because you guys are never bored and science never stops. And there's been a lot of amazing progress that's been made. So Angela, you want to dive in a little bit on what's been happening, or Dom?
Yeah,
Could
sure.
take it. Yeah.
Sure. No, it's been a really interesting year. We have a lot of cool projects ongoing, and a few new things that we're excited about. We're going to get started very soon with a new project in our lab looking at Pompe disease, which is a glycogen storage disorder, and looking at ketogenic diet and its potential therapeutic role in that disease. And we're looking kind of more specifically at epigenetics and the role of autophagy as it pertains to potential therapeutic effects in Pompe. So we're super excited to get started on that at the beginning of the new year. And let's see, we have an ongoing clinical trial with Dr. Allison Hall at Florida Medical Clinic here in Tampa, where we've been working on looking at, does continuous glucose monitoring while you're undergoing like a wellness program, does it actually help improve objective biomarkers of cardiometabolic health? So if you are able to see, how the food that you're consuming immediately affects your blood glucose, is that going to change your behavior, and will it actually have outcomes in some of these objective biomarkers? So we're super excited about that. We had one phase of the study done this fall, and another is set to kick off in January. So those are some of the cool big projects we have going on right now. And we have a number of students in the lab too. Dom, if you want to kind of describe some of our students, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a growing group of students that are in the lab, and we have PhD students, we have undergraduate students in the honors program. We even have high school students working on their science fair projects. We have one successfully defended his PhD last week. That'd be Chris, and they are working on neuroscience projects, cancer projects, looking at biomarkers for inflammation and epigenetics. So our PhD student, Sarah Moss, is spearheading a project on metabolic regulation of epigenetics in the context of disease models, including Kabuki syndrome, which is something we're studying, and also cancer.
That's great. So you guys certainly have been doing a lot of, not been bored in the lab, which is great. And
no.
a lot of things are underway. And honestly, just in the ketogenic metabolic therapy space in general, and some of the science that's been happening, which, by the way, we highlighted in that ebook that we put out in January, that's still available on our website. It's just amazing, though, everything that's happened. It feels kind of like, gosh, the last, year and a half plus has been so wild, but the science is there, it's moving forward, and it's making incredible progress, which is really, really exciting. So I won't delay this any further, because we have a big announcement, and I could not be more excited. Actually, I feel a little emotional today about announcing it, because it's been, it's been such a wild year. We postponed MHS 2021, and we haven't seen everybody since 2020, and we had such an amazing year at the conference then. But we have been working very hard behind the scenes, I'd like to say. So even though you've not seen maybe Metabolic Health Summit in action this year, we have not stopped working. And I'm excited to say that early bird tickets for Metabolic Health Summit 2022, along with a lot of juicy details we're going to be sharing in this live, early bird tickets are now live and available on our website at metabolichealthsummit.com. This is a huge deal. We're going to be coming together in Santa Barbara, California. So we've switched up our location. It's absolutely gorgeous. Where this is going to be held, which is at the Hilton Santa Barbara Beachfront Resort. And there's so much to do there. It's just a really magical place. And Dom, I'd love to get into the speakers, some of the speakers that will be coming out for Metabolic Health Summit 2022. But Dom, you were recently in Santa Barbara, and you got a firsthand look at, the funk zone that's right by the hotel and all kinds of stuff. You want to share a little bit about what you saw, and then maybe start to dive into some of our speakers that you're excited about?
Yeah, I think this is the best venue by far. So Santa Barbara is very unique. There's a lot happening from the perspective of the beach. Obviously, we spent a lot of time on the beach, bikes, a lot of walks, and the downtown area has a lot to offer in terms of entertainment, in terms of eating. There's a big party going on there, and quite a lot of people, and a lot of places to eat and things to do, shopping. So I was super impressed with the venue. Congrats, you guys picked the perfect. And the hotel itself, yeah, the hotel was fantastic. I mean, it's not huge where you get lost in it, but it's big enough to accommodate everyone, it seems, and the venue itself. And it has a nice courtyard area, central area where people can mingle. And I think it's a great place to network. Not only is it a beautiful location, but it'll be a great place to network too, I think, with everything going on there.
I agree. Yeah, so. No, it's that's the goal. One of the goals of Metabolic Health Summit. And real quick, I want to mention, let us know if you're in the chat right now. Comment below, because we are giving away a ticket to Metabolic Health Summit 2022. But just let us know if you're hearing anything funky. We had some audio issues earlier when we were sort of testing out. So if you're watching, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to know where you are from, and that will also enter you to win a ticket to Metabolic Health Summit 2022. But we have been working really hard on our speaker lineup, as well as just an overall amazing experience that we always try to offer. We really try to cultivate special moments at MHS, special moments that include really unique networking opportunities, really unique entertainment, just evening meals where you've got ketogenic foods and all kinds of cool stuff. So you can definitely find out more on our website. But let's talk a little bit about the speakers. Dom, who are you excited? About? Who's coming out?
Yeah, well, you put me on the spot because I'd encourage people to go check out the speaker list. And we have an amazing list of speakers that are high level academic, clinical, basic science and clinical. If I have to pick two, which is really hard, I've communicated with her today, Lucia Aronica. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right, Lucia. She's very interesting. I'm super interested to hear her talk because it's focused on epigenetics. Right. So the metabolic control of our gene expression, which we call epigenetics. And Lucia is very interesting. She comes from Italy and comes from the land of pasta and pizza and has an interesting personal story. And I believe that she did her PhD in Austria and Oxford too, and her training in Oxford. And she's at Stanford now. She's a lecturer and a teacher at Stanford, and I'll be teaching in one of her classes actually. So I'm super interested to interact with her and listen to her talk. And also, our project is going in the direction of epigenetics. And Barbara Gower, too, comes to mind. Barbara, I've met with her at University of Alabama, and they have a massive program there on obesity, metabolism, and nutrition. And she really studies insulin signaling and metabolic disease and the interaction with obesity as it pertains to metabolic disorders, type 2 diabetes, endometrial cancer, and ovarian cancer. And she's got a number of clinical trials ongoing. And so I'm super excited to hear her talk.
Awesome. Yeah,
so I could go on all the speakers, but
there are so many.
Yeah,
all of them.
A great list of speakers. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them are pretty incredible who we have coming out, and we're going to be announcing more soon. And I definitely want to get into. We've got some good audio here, so everybody's chiming in. Thank you all for commenting here. We've got somebody actually can even hear us in gale force winds in Iceland. Somebody who's watching us live on YouTube right now. We're actually simultaneously broadcasting on 2 different platforms. So we've got some really great comments coming in, and please continue to engage with us because, like I said, you share this video, you comment, we're going to be giving away a ticket. But Angela, I want to hear who you're excited about. Obviously, all of our speakers are very exciting, but what are your thoughts?
Yes, this is always the hardest part of planning MHS for me is like picking the speakers that, yes. Working with the committee that selects the speakers. It's just, there's so many incredible researchers out there and clinicians and just people doing incredible work in this space. And it's always fun to get new people involved, but also you want to bring back the old people that have been speakers before that have, doing just as amazing work still.
Right. I know, it's so hard.
Yeah, but so there's 2 people I kind of thought about who are new to MHS that I'm very excited about. First is Dr. Elaine Shao. She's an associate professor at UCLA, and she studies the gut-brain axis. So how the microbiome, which is that, the resident microbes that live in our gut, how they communicate with the brain, and how that influences our neuroscience, which is really cool. And then even how that influence can impact or even mediate disease or like a therapeutic mechanism, such as with epilepsy and the ketogenic diet. So the gut-brain axis is incredibly interesting. We're, just now learning more and more about how important it is. And I'm super excited to finally get like a really cool talk on this topic at MHS. And then another speaker that I'm excited about this year is Dr. Glenn House. He's a doctor of physical medicine and rehabilitation, and he's also a spinal cord injury patient himself. So he has a really unique perspective, and it's a very powerful perspective that he brings to his practice and his teaching and his research. And he really highlights the importance of nutrition and metabolic health in spinal cord injury patients. And this is, an area that sadly has really been understudied and not received a lot of focus historically. So I think that'll be a really cool perspective that he's going to bring to MHS this year.
Yeah, we're really covering a wide array of topics. We heavily focused, obviously, on ketogenic metabolic therapies, of course. But some of the speakers that are, inclusive of topics like gut microbiome or Alzheimer's, Dr. Dale Bredesen's coming back out and speaking to his protocol that's reversing Alzheimer's and mild cognitive decline in some people, as well as we've got a dual board certified in obesity medicine and psychiatry. We've got mental health speaker who's coming out. I mean, we're covering a vast variety of topics, and it's exciting to bring everybody together again. And in addition to these amazing presentations, one thing that's really great for our attendees is that you get to experience a lot of the top and most innovative food, technology, human optimization brands that are out there in the market. So we have this expo, and our sponsors honestly help us make Metabolic Health Summit happen. And our sponsors are all located around the ballrooms of the presentations. And you really have an opportunity to connect with some really amazing people that are behind some of these technologies and food companies. I mean, you definitely won't be hungry at MHS because there's food not only in our expo, but also throughout our gala dinner and VIP, which we'll get into here really soon. But we want to give a special thank you to our platinum sponsors, because this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors at all. So Keto Mojo, Biosense, those guys will be there. Dry Farm Wines will be serving wine all weekend long. They do such a phenomenal job at just starting the party and keeping it going. Ketone Technologies, Killer Creamery, Keto Nutrition, Audacious Nutrition. I mean, it's really, and that's just, platinum sponsors. We have a slew of incredible partners that are going to be offering all kinds of unique experiences throughout the weekend that we're really excited about. But let's talk a little bit about some of those networking events and special things that we offer with some of our speakers, actually. So our VIP mixer and gala dinner. Angela, do you want to talk a little bit more or speak to those a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. We like to have a lot of fun at MHS too. So I've been to a lot of conferences and a lot of scientific conferences, and I can't think of another one that is as entertaining or engaging and just a lot of really genuinely fun networking type events. So every year we have a VIP mixer, which is a smaller, more intimate group of attendees, and our speakers and a lot of our partners, our sponsors are represented there as well. And we always have some kind of cool entertainment. Last year we had some synchronized swimmers at the pool because our mixer was beside the pool, which that was a lot of fun. And we always have some amazing food, and Dry Farm Wines is always there serving up, Dry Farm Wines, which is great. And it's just really an incredible opportunity to get, face to face with these people that you know of, but maybe you don't live near and you don't get to see in your, regular circles. And it's always just such a fun time to really kind of build those relationships. And then the gala dinner is a really special event to us. And we put it on every year to benefit two incredible nonprofits, Max Love Project, which supports families of children with childhood cancers, and then the Charlie Foundation, which supports ketogenic therapies kind of across the board, but a lot of their base is in epilepsy. And both Max Love Project and the Charlie Foundation are they're doing amazing work. Check out their websites if you don't know about them. And you can kind of see all the things that they're involved in. And we love, this continued partnership we have with them, being able to support that, bringing the science side of things to reality. And that's what these people, are doing on the ground, which is really cool. And the gala, we always have some really neat entertainment and dancing and just an incredible dinner, a ketogenic dinner, and it's so much fun every year. And I know, Victoria, earlier you mentioned, that you're a little bit emotional, describing or that we're actually releasing these early bird tickets today. And I actually watched, we have a video about MHS from 2020 on our website. And I was looking through things the other day and I rewatched that video and I got emotional too. And it was it was just wow, this is a part of, this community that I've really missed, and it's been too long. And I'm just so thrilled that we're going to be able to get back together and really, just have MHS again. And some of those scenes from the VIP mixer and gala dinner were just amazing. It did make me a little emotional there too.
I know this is a huge passion project, honestly, for us, all of us, Dom, myself, Angela, we put our hearts and souls into it. And I think when we actually are there on the stage in Santa Barbara, I don't want to jinx myself, but I probably will cry a little bit because it's really important and I know you guys will agree, in my opinion, this conference is so important and really establishes such like incredible collaborations between scientists and business leaders and, patients who are there at the conference. Unfortunately, recently we've lost some really good people. One of our conference attendees, Oscar Garcia, people like that are truly an inspiration to us and are why we do what we do, and why we want to make metabolic therapies loud and clear so we can further this research. And, hopefully it becomes a bigger topic of conversation, as the research continues to show more potential. So it's so exciting to see this happen. And speaking to the science, Dom, I know one of all of our favorite events within the event at MHS is the International Scientific Poster Session, where it's honestly one of my favorite parts. You can mix and mingle with scientists from around the world and witness like unpublished data from everywhere. Dom, do you want to talk a little bit more about maybe those who aren't familiar with what a scientific poster session is and what we're offering people through that event?
Yeah, sure. And shout out to the Charlie Foundation, because I really stumbled upon them back 12 years ago. When you Googled ketogenic diet, they came up top on a Google list. And it was brought to my attention that they did a tremendous amount of educational outreach, helping a lot of families. So as Metabolic Health Summit is sort of established to provide that educational outreach and get the information out there. So with the poster session is part of that. And poster sessions changed my life as an undergraduate student when I was at Rutgers, and later as a PhD student. It allowed me to network and discuss the science with potential employees and collaborators. And it's super important for networking. I encourage everybody, if they're interested in presenting the research and they don't have the opportunity to be a speaker, you can submit an abstract. So if you click on the website, that's right, Victoria, right? Yep, you can follow the guidelines there. On the top of the website, I think it says abstract, not poster. So click on abstract and submit your abstract, clinical trial, basic science research, and also case reports we will be accepting. So I have a couple case reports, and I've been communicating with some patients and would like to do a case report myself or medical student working on that. So encourage everybody to attend, to submit an abstract to the scientific poster session and to attend it and just mingle. And it's a great place to not only learn science, but to collaborate and network with other scientists.
Absolutely. It's one of my favorite pieces of the event, just because you get to meet so many incredible people doing such important work from everywhere in the world, work that's not even been published yet, which is very exciting. We've got a lot of people tuning in from all over the place right now. Ziva, she's joining us from Slovenia. She actually volunteered at MHS last year. Thank you for joining us here on YouTube. And we've got some really great people jumping into the mix. Hi, Maria. Hi, Lori. Lori's asking about MHS on the East Coast. Maybe in the future. This year, though, we're so excited to have MHS coming back to, actually for the first time, we'll be in Santa Barbara, California. So sometimes we mix it up and keep it spicy. Last year was Long Beach. This year we're going out to Santa Barbara. And I also want to mention, in addition to launching, so we're launching our early bird tickets today, where you can actually save $50 on tickets if you purchase early. And those will only be available for a limited amount of time. And I can guarantee you this conference will sell out. So make sure you get those tickets soon. But in addition to that, I'm really excited to share that we're going to be offering a really cool virtual component, virtual platform. So if you're not able to make it out to MHS for whatever reason, obviously all things considered, we will be offering a virtual ticket so you can experience exactly what you're experiencing live in person at MHS 2022. We're going to be offering some really cool features, networking features, where you're able to network not only with other online participants, but with people who are actually at the event. You're going to be able to meet all of our sponsors, maybe schedule appointments with them, maybe randomly bump into somebody, shoot somebody a random note and hop on a Zoom call. I mean, it's going to be a really really, really cool platform. Gamification is going to be a part of it, like we've done in years past, where you get points and then you can win for different activities throughout the weekend, and you can win a ticket to Metabolic Health Summit 2023. So that is not available just yet, but be aware that that is coming soon, a virtual ticket to MHS 2022. For now, we've launched our live in-person tickets. And for those of you who are commenting, for those of you who are sharing this video live or on the replay, you're entered to win a ticket to Metabolic Health Summit 2022, which is worth almost $400, actually more than $400 if I misspoke there. So make sure you like, share, comment, all the good things. But I just wanted to mention that virtual piece. And for those who are watching, pop your questions into the chat, because down below into the comments, because we're going to be diving into a little bit of the research. We've talked a lot about MHS, and for those who want to learn more, go to our website at metabolichealthsummit.com. But let's get into some of the research and some of what's been happening over the course of the last year plus and a half. Angela, do you want to talk a little bit more about some interesting research that you've gravitated towards recently?
Yeah, sure. I was kind of thinking about this ahead of time. There's been so many incredible papers that have come out. Obviously don't have time to highlight, all of them, but one that came to mind, as some of you may know, a lot of my focus and what I'm excited about is the potential role of ketogenic therapies in cancer. And it's a really hot field right now. There's a lot that we're learning and a lot that's progressing. And there was a paper that came out earlier this year, and it was looking at the effect of the ketogenic diet on anti-tumor immunity, so the immune system's ability to identify and neutralize tumors as they form or as they progress. And in this paper, they found that in some very aggressive cancer models, so these are animal models, actually to reestablish the T-cell-mediated tumor function that had been lost. So it's common that tumors will find ways to silence the immune system, and the ketogenic diet was actually able to restore that in these models, which is really cool. And this actually agrees with some data that has been published previously by Dr. Adrian Scheck, which is really neat. And so this effect also, they determined that it seemed to be specifically mediated by the ketone bodies themselves. And they did this because they gave the animals sucrose in order to block ketogenesis, and they saw that was able to basically block the therapeutic effect. But they were also able to block that therapeutic effect with pharmacological blocking of the ketone receptor. So these pieces of evidence really, point to the fact that the ketones themselves, and probably specifically beta hydroxybutyrate, were mediating this effect, which is really, really cool. And now again, this is in animal models, not in humans, and so we need to understand more, but it's another really interesting piece of information on the mechanisms by which ketosis might influence cancer in beneficial ways. And I'm always super interested to see mechanistic work as it relates to ketogenic diet and cancer. So that was a really cool paper that came out earlier this year. And then we've been doing a whole bunch of stuff in the lab recently. And one paper that I'm excited about, we just submitted, literally, I think it was Sunday, I submitted a review article on the potential use of ketones basically as a strategy to solve the brain's energy crisis in the setting of neurological diseases. So when you look at a wide variety of neurological diseases of many different etiologies, neurotrauma, traumatic brain injury, to seizure disorders, to neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's disease, mild cognitive impairment, you often see this characteristic glucose hypometabolism, so a reduced capability to metabolize glucose for energy. And ketones, being the only other, significant energy substrate for the brain, really hold the opportunity to basically supply energy to our most energetically demanding organ in times of need. And the preliminary evidence really suggests that they might be able to do this quite well. And most excitingly, most of the times in these conditions, when it's looked at, while the brain or the nervous system in whatever specific areas is being damaged has reduced glucose metabolism, the data doesn't suggest that ketone metabolism is also suppressed. And so again, this really supports this idea that maybe supplying ketones in this setting could really have a major impact in being able to basically support the energy metabolism of the nervous tissue during that traumatic period or following, to prevent cognitive and physical decline. So it was a fun review article to write. I worked on it with Dom and a couple of students in our labs. They did a great job, and it was just really fun to dive into the literature on that topic. And I'm, holding my fingers that it'll get accepted and we can get it out there. And then if it's published.
Oh, I think she might froze a little bit.
I think so too.
You're there, Dom. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's really exciting to see. I mean, that's a really exciting share from Angela there, and where some of the research is headed. Oh, you're back, I think.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry.
It's, no, that's okay. Just, neurological health and where ketogenic metabolic therapies fits within that is exciting. It's an exciting space to dive into once you start looking at some of the research that's happening in that in particular. But Dom, what would you say in terms of research that's been happening lately? What's been most exciting to you?
Well, I want to highlight that review article by Angela, and we have a couple book chapters that will be coming out. Angela being first author on one of them was an overview of the ketone supplements and all the different biological epigenetic functions, complete overview of that. In Oxford University Press book, it'll be the 100th year anniversary of the ketogenic diet. Actually, it's just passing now, but it's coming out in early 2022. I believe. So keep an eye out for that. And I want to also just comment on the ability of the ketogenic diet to further augment and enhance cancer-specific immune surveillance. The ability of a diet to further augment things like really important immunotherapies like these checkpoint inhibitors, PD-1 inhibitors are, we're going into discussions with the Moffitt Cancer Center, and we have collaborators over there, and we think that this is an important area that we could maybe, get our research into that, and hopefully in clinical trials. So there's that, and we have a number of publications that have recently been published. Chris Sanoho published a paper on ketone salts and looking at ketone salts on reducing oxidative stress, specifically superoxide, in the context of oxygen toxicity. So we're funded by the Office of Navy Research's project looking at specifically brain slice preparations. I did work earlier in the hippocampus showing that high oxygen can elevate oxidative stress in the hippocampus, and Chris was looking at the brainstem area that controls cardiorespiratory function. And we have another student that published a paper looking at ketone esters on oxygen toxicity, suppressing and delaying that, but also looking at behavior and motor function. So we've been pretty active on a number of different fronts, including the Department of Defense or Office of Navy Research work, and a number of other projects just starting up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot's been going on, and Dom, you'll be speaking at MHS 2022 to much of what's been happening in our Human Optimization Symposium, which will be really exciting to hear kind of the latest and greatest happenings of what's going on there. And honestly, I feel like we probably could talk about this topic all day long and what's happening in this field. It's really exciting to see it sort of explode. I remember when MHS first started, it was really a scientific meeting, and it was about 250 people. We were expecting like 20, and it exploded initially, and now it's just so it's really exciting to see how this is just taking over and happening across the world and bringing people together. It's, once a year is so special. So we're really excited to kick this off. And we've been having so many great comments. I don't know if you guys are able to see this on your end, but so many great comments are coming in here. Somebody asked actually the abstract submission deadline, which is March 18th, 2022. So you have a little bit of time. If you go to our website, hit abstracts, you'll be able to read all about the guidelines there. In addition to going to our website, you can also book your hotel now online. We do have a discounted room block you will want to take advantage of at this beautiful hotel in Santa Barbara that we're staying at. So that's also available on our website. Our speakers, we've got, last year's presentations, you name it. But somebody asked here, I know we were going to cover some questions. So if anybody has questions on ketogenic metabolic therapy, metabolic health, definitely comment below. But somebody asked about wound healing specifically and ketogenic nutrition. He said we do a human study, Dom. So I don't know if he's asking you to do a human study, but let's talk a little bit about. Oh, Robbie, yeah.
I remember Robbie. Robbie, thanks for tuning in. That was our former PhD student, now Dr. Shannon Kessel, did some really important work on the effects of metabolic therapy for wound healing. So in the wound healing world, I guess putting things on topically is sort of the way they go about things. But if you change your metabolic physiology and drop inflammatory markers and enhance circulation by lowering blood glucose, and you augment the healing process. And I think, we can enhance, we know, probably better than anybody else, that you can further, dramatically augment the wound healing process by changing metabolism. So that will be an important human clinical trial. And I'd like to speak with you more about that and how we can go about doing that. And, I've entertained the thought of writing a grant on this topic. So maybe we can collaborate on that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many great people in the room right now. Some of which have been to the conference are saying really kind words. We appreciate you guys coming on out to the conference. It's going to be even more incredible when we can all get back together again. If any of you have questions, feel free to comment them down below, because it'll also enter you to win a ticket to Metabolic Health Summit 2022 in Santa Barbara. And I just want to briefly mention, obviously, this is a really important topic, the topic of COVID, which, by the way, we will be covering at MHS 2022. But I just want to let people know who are watching this right now, we couldn't be more closely monitoring all of the rules and regulations that are out there right now, especially, in the state of California. And we are going to be bringing people together in the safest way possible. So I just want everybody to know that we will be updating you guys probably more than you want on the topic throughout the course of the year. If you have questions about how that's going to happen, please feel free to email us at support@metabolichealthsummit.com if you're not too sure. And then also know that we're going to offer a virtual ticket to MHS for those that might not feel comfortable getting together again right away, or maybe you're dealing with a situation where travel restrictions are still a thing by then. Hopefully not, but we'll see how things kind of shake out. But obviously the pandemic is ever changing all day, every day. And so as we get information, we will be sharing that with you guys. But the most important thing I want to say is that we could not be more excited to get back together again in May of 2022. It has been far too long, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. Anything else you guys want to say to Metabolic Health Summit 2022 and what we've got in store?
I just can't wait.
Yeah. I attended a few conferences recently, and it was just amazing. There was just like a buzz in the air, but nothing like MHS. And I think it'll be great to bring this group of people together, that there's just so much energy and dynamic connectivity between everyone. It's just sort of like every person's like an individual neuron, like a brain forming together. It's like awesome. There's just a lot of energy when people get together, and you can feed off that energy. And I think we're all kind of united for a specific cause, right? To advance the science and the application of nutrition and metabolic therapies. So just excited to be part of it and see everybody.
I couldn't agree more. And I love that we're all a bunch of neurons and we're connected. I mean, there genuinely is this like incredible vibe. Like, so I don't know, everybody's on ketones or on a ketogenic diet or something, but it's a really exciting, because everybody there is so excited about this field. And it's going to be really cool to share again. So for those of you who are watching, thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching the replay, whether you're watching the live, comment, share, ask questions. If you have questions you think about at a later time, ask them. We're happy to answer them. We continue to try to update our social accounts with new information and education. So that will continue to come down. And we'll be updating everybody soon on Metabolic Health Summit 2022 and all the exciting things that are happening. So thank you, Dom and Angela, for hopping on today. Oh, you'll be seeing more of us too. So I'm excited for that. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much, everybody. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.